hook. If you feel stuck, it's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're weak. It's not because you lack discipline. It's because you're trapped in an anxiety loop, a loop that looks like thinking, but is actually fear. And the reason it's so hard to break is simple. The loop gives you relief, not real peace, not real progress, just relief. And your brain loves relief. So you keep repeating the same behaviors, overthinking, checking, avoiding, scrolling, seeking reassurance, and you call it being careful. But careful is not the same as moving forward. Today, I'm going to show you the loop, the hidden structure behind your anxiety, and I'll show you how to break it today. Not next month, not when you feel ready. If you feel stuck often, comment ME. Because the moment you see the loop clearly, you stop blaming your personality. You stop blaming your past, and you start changing the system. Part 1 anxiety is not just a feeling. Most people think anxiety is just worry. It's not. Anxiety is a system, a pattern, a cycle your brain repeats to feel safe. And this is important. Your brain doesn't care about your dreams. It cares about survival. Your brain would rather keep you stuck and safe than moving and uncertain. So anxiety doesn't only show up as panic. Sometimes it shows up as productivity. You research for 2 hours. You plan everything. You read advice. You prepare. But nothing changes. Nothing ships. Nothing goes live. Nothing gets exposed to reality. That's anxiety wearing a suit. It's fear pretending to be responsibility. And the loop is the reason you can't just calm down. Because you're not dealing with a thought. You're dealing with a trained habit. So let's expose the habit. Micro story 1. I feel busy, but I'm not moving. Here's what the loop looks like in real life. You tell yourself, I'm trying, I'm doing things, but your life doesn't move. You're exhausted, but you have no results. You're mentally busy, but nothing is built. You're constantly thinking, but your decisions never land. That's not laziness. That's the loop. And the loop has 5 steps. Once you see them, you can catch them. Part 2, the 5. Step hidden anxiety loop. This is the core of the video. Pay attention here because once you recognize these steps, you stop being confused. Step 1, trigger. Something happens that creates uncertainty. Un message, a deadline, a difficult conversation, a new opportunity, a decision, a risk. The trigger can be small, but it hits a sensitive spot. Uncertainty. Step 2, threat story. Your brain tells a story, not facts. A story. This is dangerous. This will go wrong. This will ruin everything. They're mad. I'm going to fail. I'm going to regret this forever. This story happens fast. So fast, you think it's reality. Step 3, control behavior. Now your brain tries to regain control. This is where you do the behaviors that feel helpful but keep you stuck. Overthinking, checking, avoiding, scrolling, reassurance seeking, planning more, researching more, asking people what to do, rereading messages, replaying conversations, anything that reduces uncertainty without taking real action. Step 4, relief. This is the reward. You feel better for a moment, not because the problem is solved, but because your anxiety dropped, and your brain interprets that drop as, see, that behavior worked. Step 5, repeat. So next time there's uncertainty, your brain repeats the loop. Trigger, story, control, behavior, relief, repeat. And every repetition strengthens the habit. That's why anxiety gets worse over time. If you keep obeying the control behavior, because your brain learns uncertainty is danger. Control behaviors are safety. Now let's make it painfully real with examples. Example 1, we need to talk, text. Trigger, you get a message. We need to talk. Threat story, they're angry. I'm in trouble. They're leaving. I did something wrong. Control behavior, you check your phone every 30 seconds. You reread the message 10 times. You stalk their online status. You send another message. Is everything okay? You ask friends, what do you think it means? You rehearse 10 possible conversations. Relief. They finally reply. Or you distract yourself. Your anxiety drops for a moment. Repeat. Next time you see any uncertainty, you spiral faster. Notice, your behavior didn't solve the problem. It only reduced anxiety temporarily. But your brain got rewarded anyway. That's why it repeats. Example 2 content. YouTube loop, trigger, you want to publish a video. Threat story, what if it flops? What if people think it's bad? What if I'm wasting time? Control behavior, you watch tutorials for 2 hours. You search best hooks. You rewrite the script again. You tweak the thumbnail again. You optimize instead of publish. Relief, you feel productive. You feel safer. You tell yourself, at least I'm preparing. Repeat. Next day you do it again. And again. No upload. No growth. Just preparation. That's anxiety disguised as responsibility. Example 3. Decision paralysis. Trigger. You have to choose something. Job, relationship, move, project. Threat story. If I choose wrong, I'll ruin my life. I need the perfect answer. Control behavior. You overthink. You ask everyone. You research endlessly. You delay. You wait for certainty. Relief. Delay reduces the pressure temporarily. Repeat. Your brain learns. Delay equals safety. So you delay more. That's how people stay stuck for years. Not because they can't move. Because the loop rewards waiting. Part 3. Why this loop keeps you stuck. Here's the brutal truth. Anxiety rewards avoidance. Avoidance feels like safety, but avoidance kills progress. Your brain chooses short-term relief over long-term growth, because growth requires uncertainty, and uncertainty is what the anxious brain hates the most. So the loop keeps you in a fake solution. You feel like you're doing something, but you're not building the future. You're feeding the moment. You're managing anxiety, not moving your life. And the longer you do this, the more your brain believes, I can't handle uncertainty, but you can. You just haven't practiced it the right way. So now let's break it. Part 4. Break it today. The 3-step method. You don't break anxiety by thinking better. You break it by interrupting the reward and replacing the behavior. 3 steps. Step 1. Name the loop. The moment you notice the spiral, say, this is the anxiety loop. Not, I'm broken. Not, I'm stupid. Not, I'm hopeless. Just, loop, why this works. Labeling creates distance. You stop being the storm. You become the observer. And the observer has choices. Step 2. Interrupt the reward. Now comes the hard part. You must block the control behavior that gives relief. Don't check again. Don't reread again. Don't ask for reassurance again. Don't scroll again. Don't research again. Because every time you do the control behavior, you feed the loop. So what do you do instead? A fast nervous system reset. Inhale normally, then exhale longer. Then do a quick grounding scan. 5 things you see, 4 things you feel, 3 things you hear, 2 things you smell, 1 thing you taste. This doesn't magically solve your life. It calms the body enough so you stop obeying panic. Step 3, replace with 1 small action. Now you replace the control behavior with 1 small action that moves you forward. Ask, what's the smallest action that creates progress? Not the perfect plan, not the full solution, 1 step. If you're anxious about a message, write 1 calm reply draft. If you're anxious about your video, export and upload step 1. If you're anxious about a decision, choose 1 small test, not a final life sentence. If you're anxious at night, write 1 sentence, turn off the phone, lights out. Progress is the antidote to stuck, because progress proves to your brain, I can move even with uncertainty. And that is what breaks the loop. Micro story 2, what breaking the loop feels like. Breaking the loop will feel strange at first, because your brain will scream, but what if something goes wrong? Yes, something might, but the point is, your control behaviors were never preventing disaster. They were preventing growth. When you stop checking, you feel exposed. When you stop reassurance, you feel alone. When you stop overthinking, you feel uncertain. That discomfort is not danger. It's training. It's the gym for your nervous system. And every time you tolerate uncertainty without running to control, your brain rewires. It learns, I can handle this. Part 5, common mistakes. 3 mistakes that stop people from breaking the loop. Mistake Hason, waiting to feel calm before acting. You will never act if you require calm first. Calm often comes after movement. Mistake #2, expecting the loop to disappear completely. Your goal is not 0% anxiety. Your goal is 60% less control behavior. That's progress. Mistake #3, breaking it once and thinking you're done. This is habit training. You repeat it. Catch name, interrupt, replace. That's how you win. Part 6, 7-day challenge. Here's your 7-day challenge. For the next 7 days, every time you feel the loop start, eerst, name it, loop. 2, interrupt, long exhale plus grounding. 3, replace, 1 small action. Day 1-2, just catch it, label it. Day 3-4, interrupt before you check. Day 5-7, replace with action fast. And at the end of 7 days, ask yourself, am I still stuck? Or am I learning to move again? Because your brain isn't your enemy. It's just trained, and you can retrain it. You're not stuck because you're weak. You're stuck because your brain learned a loop. So you'll teach it a new loop. Catch it, nam it, I interrupt it, replace it. That's how you break it today. If you want the next video, how to stop anxiety spirals at night, comment next. And if this described you perfectly, share it with someone who looks calm on the outside and fights a war in their head.